Just before I uploaded my last video, NJ Transit finally put the nail in the coffin for their seasonal shuttles to Great Adventure, with the last one running out of the Port Authority bus terminal in New York. However, with theme park prices skyrocketing and many transit operators facing physical cliffs, it would make sense to make sure there's enough drivers on better used routes than that ceiling route that might get almost none now. So, in the vein of climate transit and other urbanism in relation to sports stadiums, I'm going to rank the transit at every Six Flags park. Up next. This is History and Leisure, bi-weekly content on theme parks and transportation. Viewer suggestions always welcome, on Instagram, Threads, and Bluesky, as well as weekly to bi-weekly articles on my podcast, History and Leisure Storytellers, on my Substack. Also, check out History and Leisure Extras for copyright footage, shorts, and highlights. My criteria is 1 point per bus route within a walk shed, which is roughly half mile from the street entrance. 1 point for light rail, trolley, metro station, direct or indirect, with half point for additional route and frequency, especially on weekends. And 2 points for mainline rail, which means a form of commuter, regional, suburban rail, however you want to call it, and inner-city rail, in this case, Amtrak or VIA. However, it's close enough to the region's main station, I might just give it just a medium bonus point. I'm also limiting it to the change it was in the years 2018 to 2024, since the murder CFR isn't cleared at the time of recording, and over 40 probably there's too much to do in one video. Next one will be Cedar Fair for sure. As an example, I will use a former Six Flags park that has long been doomed to be removed for a downtown revamp and is frowned upon by enthusiasts. Elitch Gardens in Denver, Colorado. For what it's worth, the park is well connected. It shares a light rail station with Ball Arena, home of the Avalanche, Mammoth, and Nuggets. However, even at peak, the end don't go over 10 minutes without the other. That's enough for 2 points. It gets mainline points for a direct link to Union Station. 4 regional lines, the Daily California Zephyr, the seasonal Winter Park Express, and many local intercity routes, some giving that a +7. Excluding the EMW, all of Union is basically under one roof. Plans do call for a corridor service from Cheyenne to Colorado Springs, and long-distance service to Houston, the Twin Cities via South Dakota, and are showing the Desert Wind and Pioneer to LA and the Pacific Northwest respectively. So it could be a perfect 10 station after the park is raised. I gave it 3 points for the 1, 15, and 20 for stopping right outside Ball Arena, giving a final score of 12. I'll roughly go from original acquisition, so Darien Lake and Frontier City were bought with Great Escape and sold in 2007 before coming back in 2018. That's where they'll fall in line. That means we start in Arlington, Texas, the largest city in America without a transit system. I would give them a go for Trinity Rail stop for the airport, and you can Uber a carpool for last mile. I would like to see like a 30-minute bus route on that corridor that goes from the station, serves Six Flags, the DFW Sports Complex, UT Arlington, perhaps a bit further to a hospital, allow students to use it for free, making it partially responsible for its funding. Almost a 180 in the outskirts of Atlanta, Six Flags Over Georgia. This route gets a point for a dedicated shuttle that runs every 40 minutes from the terminus of MARTA's Blue Line, Hamilton E. Holmes. However, it shows up every 12 to 24 minutes on weekdays and Saturdays. I do have an idea to extend the seasonal shuttle to a BRT route to Austell and Marbleton if Atlanta does regional rail. Other than finance issues, I think the transit roughly equals its worth. Burning chronology for nearby is a separate water park called Six Flags Whitewater. The park is of a small kiddie park called American Adventure next door, but was closed in 2009. I used Master Yoda's 155's map as inspiration for mine, and this would mean that just on the other side of I-75 would be a stop on the Green Line. More likely, the Green Line will connect to the Cumberland Mall, where you can take Cobb County Route 50 to Roswell and Cobb Parkway, which is just outside the walk shed. I would not be surprised if there are employees that do that walk. This is not just about guests here. We nice to have the 10, which probably starts Kansas State University have a version serving Whitewater. The last of the 3 built by Angus G. Wynn, and the only one of them to be wholly owned by Six Flags is in Eureka, Missouri, a far-flung exurb of St. Louis. It doesn't have much going for except Amtrak's Missouri River Runner, which passes the park to its south. Unfortunately, it's about equal distance to Washington to Kirkwood, so the service is not useful. They do have a lot of space across the street to build a potential rail station resorts or employee dorms if desired. This brownie point is easily negated for its ineffectiveness. Strike out for Six Flags St. Louis. Going to my home Six Flags Park, Great Adventure next. Mentioned at the top, this park used to have seasonal shuttles, not just from New York City, but from other corners of the state as well. The second use of the 309 covered Thames River, the second use of the 310 Trenton, and the 311 from Asbury Park were dropped there in 2005. And the 318 to Philadelphia, and the second use of the 307 to nearby Freehold were dropped in 2015. And finally, the 308 to New York City Port Authority just confirmed. That's 5 points gone. You can see a new route double the 317 starts between Philly and New Egypt and continue to connect with buses in Freehold, hitting I Play America before terminating at the Speedway Mall. It could also start at Adventure Crossing when the park is close to support its bottom line. A pipe dream would be a transit hub in Adventure Crossing with parking lot trams connecting Adventure Crossing to Hurricane Harbor, the solar panel lot, which I could see being used for on-site guests and drop-offs, and 1 and 2 lot locations to the front gate. To make it more worth it, propose to try an Asbury Parker that deviates the start of the park. A Thursday can dream. Before Great Adventure there was Astroworld, but that's long gone. However, Six Flags reclaimed Splashdown across the metro in 2018. It was originally built as a Keko Park, which means it's a sister of half the Cedar Fair chain, which would be interesting a twist out of this merger. However, it too strikes out. It does have a bit of a curveball with being a 20-minute drive from Bush Airport. But as you could check this park off your list on a layover, they do have a water coaster if you count those, I guess. The first flag part out west, Six Flags Magic Mountain. It has 2 bus routes, but neither directly serve the Santa Clara station on the Antelope Valley line, which has a good timetable from my heroes Metrolink line was with the worst service. Then again, that could be false because I think it's good for US standards. Only Northeast corridor stores would edge it out. The Major Lake Acceptance Paley Thorndale line has an hour gap on weekdays at midday, but little Saturday and no Sunday beyond Malvern. Yet there's more of an exception versus a norm there, I fear. Welcome itself from the Windy City is Six Flags Great America, currently passed by the Hiawatha, Empire Railroad, and upcoming Great River, and hopefully restored North Coast in the coming years. For now, its closest regional stop is Waukegan on Metro's UP North, or Libertyville on the Milwaukee District North lines. From the former, the park can be reached by paces 572 on the south side and 565 to its north. The 565 seems to be the preferred route since it serves a Great Wolf, 2 malls, and eventually a college near the Grays Lake Metro stop on the North Central line. The 574 diverts to meet both routes at City College 5.5 miles south of the park. I'm giving half point for each metro station and a full point for Amtrak contingent on the North Coast being restored regardless of the fact Gurney is in the same boat as Eureka, and likely to remain so unless plans for a Milwaukee District North branch further to reach Gurney would include an Amtrak stop there. Speaking of Metro, let's jump to Hurricane Harbor in Rockford. For a very minor water park, it does get 3 bus routes and it's right next to the Cherryville Mall, which is only served by the same routes. I'm going to give initial 2 points contingent on the Rockford service and is not being commuter-based, or else it'll be just 1 for existing. Back to Texas for Fiesta Texas and San Antonio. While San Antonio doesn't have regional rail, it does have service from both VIA and Amtrak, except VIA in this case is the city's bus system. There's a direct bus, the 93, which also serves the depot used by interstate operator Megabus. It is about an hour the Texas Eagle and the Sunset Limited do get in late 9 p.m. midnight southwestbound and early at 5 a.m. eastbound, or else the former departed at 7 a.m. with or without the latter. San Antonio could also be home to a long-distance train for the Twin Cities in the near future, which would be worth an extra point. Heading back to the northeast is another strikeout like St. Louis, Six Flags Dairyland in the town of Corfu, where 2 Empire service, the Lakeshore Limited, and Maple Leaf do run between Buffalo, Toronto, and Chicago or Newark, Boston. This would be nice if Batavia on an Amtrak station, but fake Roman fake Amsterdam snatched them up, so points cancelled. Also, this party is targeted at people with RVs and locals anyway, so anything else would be deviatory. Similar park and a similar part of the other side of New York that actually scores a Six Flags Great Escape near Lake George. From the Fort Elworth station, you can take a train, in theory, all the way to Montreal, but it gets screwed over as a specific surfliner of late. You have to take the 404 to the 411 to get there. Lake George has a lot more natural beauty and tourist traps, so I guess that's why it's apart from Darien Lake. It proves all the upsides and created equal, nor a utopia like the city. Taking half point off for the transfer, but point each for the Adirondack and the Ethan Allen, which I think is slightly better as you can easily split the trip and spend a few days up there and take one or the other back in New York. Back to the south at Frontier City in Oklahoma City. Easily the smallest and most unique park in the chain. Unfortunately, it has no bus connection whatsoever, but they could always extend the 22 seasonally from a medical center a few miles south. While not even close to Santa Fe Depot and the OKC streetcar, OKC is the present terminus of the Heartland Flyer, with plans for 2 more round trips and extending the present service to connect to the Texas Eagle in Fort Worth and the Southwest Chief in Newton, Kansas through Wichita. Currently, the connection is a throughway on it, so it is not out of left field to upgrade. The recent long-distance service plan includes a new train to connect OKC towards Tulsa, St. Louis, Cincy, Pittsburgh, Philly, New York as an extension of the old National Limited, bringing along the fact that Chicago and NOLA divide Amtrak's network between East and West. While small, this park seemed well kept and true to its western vibe. It's separate to Water Park, which is an industrial park in between the El Reno and the Stillwater Central line on the airport side, still has a connection to a 9, which I will give a half point for getting to the mapped streetcar, but it doesn't connect to Santa Fe Depot on its own, so Arlington isn't good enough for that either. Altogether, it's point for the 9, 2 points connection on service to Newton and the National Limited, and 0.5 for the connection to the streetcar from the bus to the Amtrak station. To the oldest park in the chain, we go to Six Flags New England. The PVTA's R14 deviates to an industrial park over 2 miles north of the park. However, plans call for a Hartford line stop between Springfield and Windsor Locks in Enfield, Connecticut, which would be slightly closer than the main Springfield station. However, it should still be taken into account with the Boston branch of the Lakeshore Limited, which runs from the Berkshires, as well as the Valley Plan Vermonter, which will still pass when it reopens in 2027. Thus, while lacking a bus, distance to the 2 Amtrak CT rail stations still gives it the terminal credit. They should make the R14 serve the industrial park or similar to just north of the park when closed, then devise a new route for the other version. CT Transit then does their own route from Enfield that crosses the border seasonally, otherwise ending at Jewish Community Center or looping on local roads just south of it. The park has fallen from grace over the past decade, but there is promise in the Knowledge Corridor. Going west last time for the other zoological park in the chain, Discovery Kingdom in the Bay Area. This park actually has a throughway connection to the Martinez station, which continues to Arcata. Martinez receives both of the state-operated and long-distance routes that serve the Bay Area. This state services will soon get a stop on Hercules at the end of the Jean Muir Parkway that could be more of a straighter shot. I only give it 4 points due to distance and no regional rail on that corridor, but 2 points for throughway even though it's only 2 round trips a day. It does run to Kaiser Medical Center, which could be the base for a Napa Valley Regional Rail Service station if connection to Martinez sub was made. However, taking the R from El Cierto del Norte BART, 1 stop from Richmond, straight there and back, and it's decent outside of Sundays, where you have to change buses in Vallejo, likely the 5. The R stops there, however, it's a weird crosswalk, and there may or may not be a shortcut that induces a dive loop for watershed reasons. Discovery Kingdom's landlocked and doesn't have a water park of its own. In 2017, Six Flags rectified this by reacquiring Cane Harbor Concord, which is only 1.6 miles from BART's Yellow Line, and only a 0.3 mile walk from the 20, 320, and 19X eastbound only. No man has ever been up there, and I'm taking away half point for the unidirectional travel in the 19X. Should I also quantify anything about it being in a mini office park? Leaving America for the first time, we head to Six Flags Mexico. Only 2 actual bus routes here, 13A and 125, the latter every 15 minutes. However, they also have these share taxis I can't find anything reputable on. For now, I'll do a point for each bus and 2 others think that sounds like an on-demand service. They show up dark green in maps, but the official state tags are like a pink-purple. Also, I guess they could extend line 3 at some point desired. I was gonna do a bump for proximity, but I retract. Like Discovery Kingdom, this park got distant second game in the late 2010s. This park is in the walk to the city's bus station. There are 3 buses running to Tuscana, which is one of the main bus stations in Mexico City. This takes an hour 45 with an intermediate stop. And isn't 5 for no good reason, because I don't think this park is at anything aside of King Cove from Great Adventures Hurricane Harbor. It's been 5 years. Give it a bone, silly. The next park is celebrating a birthday this year. Six Flags America has been flagged for 25 years and is home to the chain's oldest coaster, Wild One. The park has 4 routes passing it, all serve Largo, 2 continue to Addison Road. Both these stops on DC's Blue and Silver lines. Both routes take about 40 minutes, but one goes via Lake Arbor with an extra deviation, the other via Kettering. There's no direct bus between Six Flags and New Carrollton. I can't include the Mark Penn line in the Northeast Corridor, or else it would get a 7 simply for that, plus select regionals, as well as the Palmetto, Vermonter, and commuter rail? America is actually further as the crow flies from Largo than Mexico to Universidad, and it doesn't really seem like it. I mean, Mexico City is just so built up in that corner versus that corner of the DMV. I'm not the only one who thought of extending the metro directly. I decided to add an interim between the park and Glen Burnie via Annapolis, since an interurban or light metro running every 10 minutes is so satisfactory. Back to one of the parks I praised the most in the original Parks and Trans series, La Ronde in Montreal. I debate on whether Garrison Trail counts, but walking to McGill on the Green Line is less than half a mile, so I'm counting it. I'm also going to give half point at 777 since St. Helens Island, where the park is located, has a decent park. City's parks out of the Highway 134. Here's Jean Dupuis is out of the walkway because of its said beauty. I can only give a +7 due to the walking transfer to Metro, then bus, as well as the Quebec-Windsor corridor being inferior in every sense to the Northeast corridor, due to no train going even all the way to Quebec from Toronto, let alone starting in Windsor. And also for intercity is the thrice-weekly Ocean from Via to Halifax, the aforementioned Adirondack. Additionally, for Metro is the REM, Wingley will run to the airport, Dumontin, and Kirkland, in addition to the existing Brossard Gare Centrale service. For commuter rail, the Saint-Hélier and Mascouche EXO lines serve Gare Centrale, where the other three serve the next door Lausanne-Lallier. Plans call for the Vermonter to be extended to Gare Centrale, contingent on pre-clearance, the return of the Atlantic, the ocean's sister train that ran through Maine and service to Gasp in 2026, after nearly 13 years of short terms to New Carlisle, Bustitution, and nothing at all it seems. While a bit out of order for the water parks, the newest one of these with the return of Drayling and Frontier City in 2018 was Hurricane Harbor, Phoenix. 11 miles north of the current streetcar terminus by Calhoun Coasters. Just a bit connection there? Yes, but it's a 1.2 mile walk to the east. But it's relatively flat, so in a vacuum doable, just not in Phoenix. There's a train museum and go-kart across the street, so I'll give it the full point. Plans to call for Sunset Limited and a new service between Fort Worth and the Bay Area and the Twin Cities via Albuquerque and Wichita serve the old Union Station, but that's still 2.5 hours streetcar to bus to a 1.2 mile walk. So I'm looking forward to have to make the museum give the 35 its full point. Cutting the services is probably for the best. It's not even a 15% price hike on the trains is going to keep NJT afloat, and we'll look for other ways to make cuts due to a $500 million cliff, with some operators having over $1 billion ones. Of all that on urban parks, Discovery Kingdom really only stands out because it has an Amtrak thruway connection. Including California's Great America on the other end of the metro, no other park truly has an Amtrak service that feels dedicated to it, although it may come close, as we'll see with spoilers. Cedar Fair. Until then, keep on the socials, comment, subscribe, strike the bell, good night, and good luck.